Hey guys, what's good? Cybermage here. And yes, the title is 100% real. I went from working at UPS to landing a job as a penetration tester, and yet with zero cybersecurity experience. I was originally going to sit here and tell you my entire life story, but honestly, nobody wants to hear all of it. So instead, I took the entire story and I boiled it down into 5 actionable pointers that can help you if you're trying to break in, just as it helped me. And now, full disclosure, this isn't a guarantee that you're going to be hired, and I am no hiring manager either, but it is meant to provide you with insight and actionable strategies that you can apply to your job search. And another thing is to be completely transparent about where I started. Yes, I worked at UPS, but before that I had a 4-month internship as a network administrator, and yeah, that is pretty much it. If you stick around to the end of this video, I'm sure that you'll find some pointers or some things that you can implement into your job search to increase your chances of getting hired. So yeah, the first pointer is to have 2 resumes. One would be dedicated towards the offensive side, while the other one is dedicated towards the defensive side. And obviously you would have your skill sections accordingly to each side. So for example, for the offensive side, you would have Go Fish, or you would have Active Directory, or you would have social engineering. And for the defensive side, you would have Splunk or Wireshark and things like those. Another thing is that any projects that you do, like blogs, YouTube videos, or any other projects that you do, instead of putting it into an entirely separate category called projects, you'd put it under the work experience section. And if these projects are ongoing and they're, it hasn't been more than a year, maybe 3 months or 4 months, and it's still ongoing, then it's best to put the word ongoing there instead of actually putting a start date over there. And that's exactly what I did with my YouTube channel. When I was running it for about 3 months in, I would put my YouTube channel, the things I've done on it, and the word ongoing next to it. Another thing is that a lot of people do say that, hey, you should tailor your resume to every single job postings, but you're eventually going to get exhausted by that and you're going to get burnt out by that, and I totally was. So instead, I had 2 resumes for the offensive and defensive side. The only time that I would tailor my resume to a job posting was if I thought the job posting was so good and it speaks out to me, it's perfect for me. Only then would I actually take the time to tailor my resume to that job posting. So the second thing that I want to tell you guys is the importance of certifications. Certifications actually build your pathway to grow. When I started off, right, I didn't know where to go in, what do I do first. Certifications were the thing that actually helped me build my skills. So while I was doing boxes on Hack the Box and I was failing every single box that I was doing, I would go through the walkthrough, but I would also do certifications on the side. And the first certification that I did was CWES, which was back then called CBBH. And then I would go on to do CPTS, and then I would go on to do the OSCP, and then I would go on to do OSWA. Doing all of these things while watching walkthroughs on these boxes, it builds your pathway to grow. It makes a roadmap for you, and I highly recommend you guys to have like a pathway of certifications that you plan to get. Even senior pen testers, they actually learn from these courses, and it's a thing that you would continuously be doing. And it also looks really, really good on your resume. It shows dedication, it shows continuous growth, and it shows the skills to your hiring manager and the HR person. And another thing to note is that I just want to a bit on the side, but don't jump from like one certification to the next without completing the previous one. Always try to complete one certification first and then jump to the second one. It's going to build your mental capacity, or the best thing would be, I guess you could call it your mental dedication, something like that. So yeah, certifications are very important, something that you should put on your resume. Even things that are currently ongoing and you're going to give your exam for, put it on your resume as well, that hey, I'm doing the OSCP and the exam is scheduled for this date, or it is ongoing. So yeah, definitely put certifications on there. And this is why I said to have 2 separate types of resumes, one for the offensive, one for the defensive side, because it really affects what types of certifications you're getting, whether it's the blue side or whether it's the red side, and it just makes that type of resume much more better. So the third and most important thing of them all is to display your skills. When you have 0 experience, it's very hard to convince HR and the hiring manager that you can actually do the work. So showcasing your skills by doing blogs, YouTube videos, speaking at conferences, doing projects, or even posting things on LinkedIn to showcase your skills is actually very key. It's very important that you do this. At the start of my journey, I was doing both blogs and YouTube, which was very time consuming. I realized that, with blogs, you can go into more technical depth, while YouTube, you could get to showcase your confidence and speaking ability. And because, it was so time consuming to do both of them at the same time, I had to pick one to do. And I ended up picking YouTube. Even though it showcases your confidence and speaking ability, which I did suck at, and I still think that I do suck at this, which I'm slowly trying to improve. I do think it is the better option because a lot of these technical people out there, they're all doing blogs, and nowadays we have AI that can help you write these blogs as well. And these people who do have these massive amount of technical knowledge, a lot of them are not able to speak. They can't do public speaking. They don't have any good speaking abilities. They can't presentate. And I truly believe that these pen testing firms, they would actually appreciate somebody who does have the ability to speak more than someone who's super technical. And it goes a long way as well. Another thing is that you could also try to get CVEs to put on your resume. I tried it once, but I stopped after a day of doing it. Although I do think if I continue trying it, I would have been able to get some CVEs. I'll put a link in the description of Tyler Ramsley's video to try to get a CVE, and hopefully that'll help you out if you do want to go that route as well. Before I made this video, I actually asked my manager on why he picked me, and his reasoning was because of my YouTube video. A lot of these YouTube videos who post walkthroughs and stuff like this, they actually go through like the walkthrough and then they would look at it, they would complete a box, and then they would make a video on it. And I was like, okay, I can't really showcase my skills that way. So instead, I didn't look at the walkthrough at all, and I went ahead and recorded a video from scratch. And my whole goal of making this YouTube channel was only to showcase my skills so I can actually end up getting a job. So I do recommend you guys take the same route as me, where you guys do post boxes that you do from scratch. Even though you're struggling and stuff like this, it makes it look genuine. Even my manager, he watched an entire video of one of mine. He watched my thought process and the way I think, and he said that's the most important thing, and it's kind of like priceless when selecting an applicant. So posting your struggles and stuff like that, I highly encourage it. So the fourth thing is to always be connecting with people. I wish I did this more with my teachers in college, getting to know them on a personal level and actually interacting with them and not just connecting with them on LinkedIn. I was, however, close to, my friends in college. I didn't have that many friends, but I was close with some good friends in college. And at the time that I did get a job offer to become a penetration tester, I also had a job offer to become a SOC analyst. And I had no knowledge of the blue side. I didn't have any certifications for the blue teaming side as well. The interview that I gave was pretty shit, to be honest. They still gave me the job offer. It was because I was referred by one of my friends who worked there for over a year. So having these connections and making a lot of friends in your college years will go a long way for you. Another thing is to, connecting with random people on LinkedIn. I didn't have the opportunity to connect with my teachers to that extent, but I would always reach out to people on LinkedIn who I thought were amazing. Their work experience is crazy. They know a lot of things, and I would actually reach out to them, privately and actually ask them for mentorship advice and advice to get in this field. And I highly recommend you do this with a lot of people, and you will be surprised that a lot of them will happily help you out, give you free advice and stuff like this, and slowly try to build that connection. Don't just go up to a random person who's like a hiring manager and, who's in this field for a long time and just be like, hey, I need a job, actually connect with them, ask for mentorship advice. And I have some mentors right now that I've known for over a year just from connecting with them on LinkedIn. We get on call from time to time, talk about things and stuff like this. And I'll show you one of the messages that I sent to one of my mentors, and we now know each other for over a year. I think, let me just click this button here. You guys can see my screen. This is exactly what I said. Hey, or hi, I hope you're having a great day. I'm this, and you have this much experience, and would love to learn more about your work and explore ways we might exchange insights and stuff. He responded, and then, from here, if you don't mind me asking, blah, blah. So yeah, it's very important that you connect with people on LinkedIn, even though you may not know them at all. Another thing is to always be in a bunch of Discord servers, which involve cybersecurity, and actually make friends on there, because you can actually make a lot of mentors and friends on there as well. And it's going to be very beneficial to have a group of people who you're working together with to accomplish the same type of goal. It's going to boost your morale and it's going to boost your focus. Another thing that you can do is attend events. I haven't had the opportunity to attend events, but I am going to be going soon, actually in 2 weeks. So attending events, I'll still throw that in there for you guys to, if you guys want to start doing that as well. So the last tip that I have for you guys is persistence. One of my friend, he applied for 10 job applications, and he comes crying to me. He's like, oh my God, the job market is so bad and I give up. I'm not getting an interview. And I'm like, bro, the job market is bad, but come on, bro, 10 jobs, that's it. Another one of my friend, he has 5 to 7 years of experience. He's still in the job market. It's been 5 months and he's still applying. He hasn't given up. And, he probably applied to over 1,000 jobs by now. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is to not feel discouraged. Like even people with 5 to 7 years of experience, they're also struggling, you know, they're also applying for a lot of jobs. For me personally, at least a year back when I was applying to these jobs, I would also apply for thousands of jobs, and the biggest issue would be burnout. And the best way to manage your burnout is to have a structured approach when applying to these jobs. So for me, it was more like I would apply for 5 to 10 jobs every single day, and eventually when majority of the jobs have been applied to in the job market, I would then just start filtering for the last 24 hours every single day and just apply to those jobs. Another thing to note is that when I did do this approach, at least I would get 1 to 2 interviews every 4 to 6 months with zero experience. At least I would get that. And some people, they usually just prepare 1 day before an interview. And I'm going to be honest with you, these are like golden opportunities for you. Don't just spend 1 day preparing for it. Take about like a week, take a week to prepare for it. Do some research on the questions that could be asked, use AI, write down answers to those questions, rehearse yourself, practice your speaking skills. And yeah, just prepare for it as much as you can. Another thing that I noticed is that if the interview is 1 hour long, then they're probably going to ask you a couple of technical questions inside of it. But if it's only 30-minute long, they're probably just getting to know you, seeing how likable you are, and will probably ask you basic questions, stuff like, tell me about yourself. They'll probably ask you that. Another thing is that for every job that I did apply to, I would do some OINST and I would message the hiring manager on LinkedIn, try to message people on the team or company for referrals. I never really ended up getting a referral this way, but it did play a part and I did have some conversations going. Even if you were denied from a job application, but the job is still up there and you know that you're such a good fit, you should still reach out to the hiring manager and people on the team in order to, you know, get your job applications pushed forward. If this is the case, if this is the scenario, it's probably that HR denied you. Your application was just not pushed to the hiring manager. And this happened to me. I was actually denied twice by HR. The job posting was still up there. So I actually ended up emailing HR directly about my job application. And yeah, that's basically it. So what they did was they took my resume and they gave it to the hiring manager, and that's what actually got me an interview. And let me show you what email I sent. So over here, I said, I recently heard more about this role and was encouraged to apply by so-and-so. And this is one of the conversations that I had. And it was actually one of my teachers. I actually asked him for a referral. I wasn't able to get it. But, nevertheless, it did play a role. And the reason why I'm mentioning these names over here was for credibility. Additionally, I had the opportunity to speak with so-and-so this guy was originally on the penetration testing team, and just a conversation that I had going. And I just mentioned his name for credibility. That's it. And lastly, I said this, I would greatly appreciate any update you can provide regarding the status of my application. I was actually denied by them twice, and I didn't realize this until before I recorded this video. At that point, I never thought that they declined me or anything like that. That's why I wrote it that way. But yeah, it is what it is. So they took my resume and they sent it to the hiring manager for him to review. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Hopefully these tips help you guys out if you're not doing some of these, such as, making your own YouTube videos and stuff like this. I highly recommend you guys start doing it. This could be some motivation for you guys who are starting to get out to the field, because I know a lot of people out there are negative about the job market and they're, just giving up. And I thought I could just bring some hope to you guys as well. It is tough out there. It is brutal out there, but nevertheless, I wish you guys the best. If you have any other questions or any other things that you can add to this, just leave it down in the comments, and that pretty much help everybody else out who are watching this video. So thank you guys, and see you for the next one.